Okay, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you watching. It is 6:40 over here. If you don't know, in Los Angeles, and I'm waiting to go into work. Okay, so I just want to. It's gonna be probably broken up because it's a lot, but I wanted to talk about a 2-year relationship that I was in with a narcissist. This word is thrown around a lot. And from what I researched, we all got a little narcissist in us. Some people got a whole lot more. That's the difference. A whole lot more. And this person that I'm about to talk about in particular, took the cake, honey, for me. So, this was for 2 years. I can't really divulge too much information on the person in particular outside of, what their narcissistic abuse was, because I respect their family. And I just wouldn't want them to know specifically that this person was doing this. So, anyway, okay, it's going to be hard for me to tell the story because of that, but I'm going to do my best. So, I didn't know what narcissism was. I heard of it very rarely because I never had I don't think I've ever had that close of a personal relationship with a narcissist. If I did in my youth, I didn't know. But as an adult, okay, I did. So I didn't know until I researched narcissism, and I did on accident. So what happened was I was going through what I was going through in this relationship, and I couldn't understand what in the world. What is it? What does that mean? Why would someone do this when, and I'm Googling stuff like that. Trying to get answers, I did everything. I'm talking about, looked up horoscopes and everything, trying to figure out what in the world, what am I going crazy? Why is this person like this? So I ended up finding a question I typed was on Quora, the site Quora, and the person who, I'm sorry, I didn't type it. It was somebody, I looked it up on Google. Somebody posted the same question or similar to on Quora, and then a guy answered it, and he had a whole bunch of knowledge of it. It mentioned the word narcissist, and it being a personality disorder. And then I went on his page, and come to find out, he got so much information on narcissism because he was in a previous relationship with someone who abused him, and it's called narcissistic abuse. That's how you say it. So him dealing with that with this young lady drove him to research, and I gotta figure out his name because, man, that guy helped me a lot. He had a whole Quora profile based on that. Based on going, researching and going through. So everything that he was saying he was going through and that the narcissist was doing, it was so similar. They don't do anything too different. They process is the same. Okay, all of them process is the same. They do pretty much the same things. You know, I, just to start to finish, I guess you could say. I mean, that's just what I saw after researching. I researched a lot after that because I needed to understand my enemy. And he was absolutely my enemy. Absolutely, he's my enemy to this day. He don't know. He don't know. And I ain't gained too many. Look, I ain't never decided to have it. Yes, I did. One other time I decided to have an enemy. And that person, yes, is still my enemy. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm very passive. I can be. Until you just force me to not be. And usually the one thing that I'll do is separate myself completely. Okay, goodbye. I'm gonna go. Once I feel like you start affecting me pretty badly mentally, because I'ma love you, but if you start, plus I got kids, so my mental health and everything has to be on point. So if you're not considering my children, then it's pretty much time for me to that's it. If you're attacking me, you're attacking my children, period. I don't care. So anyway, I'm gonna lose my train of thought because my brain going. So I learned all this stuff from him, and it was very informative. Very informative. I'm gonna have to do parts because I gotta leave. I gotta go to work in about 10 minutes. So this person, the way that they started as a friend. It's some things I can't say, but they started as a friend, and we were coworkers. I'm not gonna say what job, but we were coworkers initially, and then I'm a very like friendly person, so I don't have a problem talking to nobody. And if I pause, it's because I have to be careful what I say. So we got cool at work, and then he showed more interest, and it became a friendship. And then after a friendship, or during the friendship, it became intimate. Okay, it's not hard to do that. Okay, because I didn't have any initial attraction at first, but attraction is not, I mean, it's how can I say that? I gained attraction once I start getting cool and noticing somebody's personality and stuff, and I start to find things that I like about them physically. That's just how I am. So I'm never initially attracted. They got to be fan, okay? I'm never initially attracted to anybody, but not never sometimes. But anyway, that's how that worked. So anyway, we got cool, started an intimate relationship, and like the way that they do it, they pretty much, I don't know if they sit back and observe the things that you like or listen to you. They do listen to you initially. They listen to you a lot initially. And they just kind of research you. They kind of just observe you. They figure out how to wiggle in. Okay. But it didn't take mine long because I'm a super empath. Like, and I'm proud of that. And so the problem is I'm proud of that. Meaning, I'm going to display that. I got a big heart. I'm an empath. I'm going to give sympathy. I'm going to give empathy. I'm going to, I'm going to do a lot because I love, and God is love, and I love God. And, he told me to love and things of that nature. Okay. So I've learned a lot since then what not to do regarding myself, but, he, paid attention a lot, and then, did all the perfect things initially, even as a friend, was very patient, and, didn't bombard me, was just, I don't know, just did things properly. We used to like just hang out, we shared love of music, whether that be rap, R&B, we used to just sit and listen to that, and it was cool, man, like cool. Like, I appreciate those moments, they were cool. Because we would just listen to music and talk about music, dude. It was cool. So anyway, once the intimacy started, and he kind of, once we got to that stage, I'm really letting out. I'm comfortable now. Like, so I'm supportive, I'm encouraging, I'm uplifting. And then once that started happening, it became all about that person, which I didn't even notice. Because then I started to get, this happened in my life and this happened in my life. I started getting all that, and that's cool. Coming from someone who's not a narcissist. Okay. So, we go, we doing our thing. We're not in a relationship, but we're doing everything that a relationship does. So randomly, I can't even remember why he did this. This is how random it was. Called me one day, was like, you know what? We ain't gonna be able to do this. Now, mind you, I already was like, before any of that transpired, as far as dealing with him, I already was trying to, I still was trying to like heal from certain things, So what I did, jumping into something, whether it be a situationship, or a relationship, or a friendship, or whatever, friendship with intimacy, I should not have. So I was vulnerable and didn't know. And so when he did that, I was hurt, like, because I had made a decision, okay, this is cool. I can handle this. I hope that it goes into something else, a little more concrete. And so when he did that, he knew exactly to do it. Like when I think later, when I thought later down the line and remembered that, like, dang, he knew exactly when to do it. And it was so random that it made me question, what did I do? Because he did not give me he gave me a reason, but it didn't make sense. So I can't even remember it. It was so far-fetched. And so I cried, dude, cried, So I think the next day, I called him back, that same, are you sure? Like, is there anything that I can do? So things were already deep, but something happened before that. It's going to be hard to understand. It really is. Something happened before that was a little weird. Like, they show a little bit, but you have to be able to just kind of decipher things. I couldn't at that point, but that was the biggest thing. The next day, I want to say the next day or the day after that, he just came back around. Now, I had already suffered emotionally, and I was still craving that, because that's what I thought I was getting, something good. So the next day or the day after that, he came back around, and so I was relieved, like, oh, whatever I did, and this is what I'm telling myself, whatever I did, I don't know, I got to do better. That was how he got me. Right there, doing that very thing was how he got me, right? So, like, I gotta go. Dropping everything. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish this story later. Okay, I done dropped my phone now. I'm in between. I just did. Okay, I ain't gonna say all of that. Hold on. Okay. I can do a quick little, because this gonna take me a while because I work and stuff. So I'm on a little break real quick. So the last thing I talked about was the kind of tactic where he separated himself real quick, right? And parts of this house, child, Lord Jesus, I thank God for allowing me through so many situations to understand and protect myself better. Anyway, I'm gonna say some things that is gonna sound crazy, because it was things that I allowed that was crazy. Because I allowed my heart to be my lead. You can't always do that. You can't do that in certain situations. So, probably this next part, I was an idiot, bro. Like, I was an idiot. You're gonna be scratching your head, but when you're dealing with a narcissist, like, you be surprised the type of things that you allow. You be surprised the type of things that you really actually did for that person. Like, me, golly, I'm glad I'm strong. But so anyway, people passing by. I don't like him. Anyway, so okay, so he did that. So that just reeled me in. I want to make sure this is what I'm telling myself, like, got to make sure we keep it together, because when you crave companionship, or because we all naturally do, and you think you found that, you're going to do what it takes to keep it. Hold up. Let me don't do what it takes as far as doing crazy stuff. Like, that's just, I don't operate in that way. Now, the things that I accepted were crazy, but we weren't we had no title. I mean, besides friends who were intimate, and it seemed like to me it was becoming, a relationship because of certain things I was introduced to, and the way the wavelength was wavelength, if that makes sense. But anyway, like meeting family and family events and all, I'm talking about, like, it literally was only a title that was missing. Everything else was what it was, everything else was like a relationship, so, ooh, child, it's such a mess. Anyway, I can say this because I don't think his family know about this, but we were co-workers, and he was friends with somebody else at work, another young lady, and they were friends, before I was friends with him, and I'm not a chump. Why? It's very hard for me to be jealous. I'm jealous. The only time I'm jealous is when I see big old houses. Ooh, big old houses. I mean, I want a nice house so bad, but it got to be a nice house, So I'll be like, what the fuck, be mad at the homeowners, but I ain't gonna show them that anyway. So otherwise, I'm not a jealous person. Like, no. But he had a friendship with somebody at work he was really close with, and that was beautiful to me. Have your friendships, have your relationships. Everybody, like, you want people around that's gonna do something good for you. So it never bothered me, but I think I think he was trying to make that person, because he had feelings for that person, that I had learned of a little later, in a weirdest way. Let me tell you first how I learned of it. Okay, so when we first became intimate, this is another narcissistic thing that he did, baby, when I think back. We were intimate the first time. I really got to watch what I say, because I'm not only concerned about what his family finds out. I'm concerned about what my family find out. But my family knows my stories. They know me very well. But still, I can't tell. Anyway, so we were intimate the first time. Not that last statement is not. It wasn't no crazy intimate. It wasn't like no crazy stuff. Okay, so that wasn't related to this. But anyway, and it was cool. Whatever. I'm not getting into detail of that. Or whatever. Not for any reason. I'm just not. That's just I can't be private. That's my business. Or maybe this isn't private. So whatever. Anyway. And afterwards, he felt like guilty. And I couldn't understand, like, he was acting like he did something so wrong. And I was like, what in the hell? Are you okay? Oh, I gotta go. I'm like, all right. It was weird. So come to find out, this other friendship that he had with this other girl, he took it, in his mind, was more than what it was. When I tell you, and he probably to this day don't still believe that it was more than what it was, but when you on the outside looking in, I wish too, child, he was about as dumb as I was being with that. And when it came to the portion of it being more than, or it possibly becoming more than a friendship, because it wasn't. And he should have been okay with it just being a friendship. You know what I'm saying? So that was on him. The same way I had to pay for what I allowed with him, he had to pay for what he allowed with that person. So that person, I'm pretty sure was a great friend to him, but he wanted more from that, right? And this is all while dealing with me. So I'm trying to remember. Anyway, when he felt that guilt after our first intimacy, it was attached to that person. Okay, because they had their little setup, how they had their little setup. I'm not sure. I can assume, but I can't speak on what the other person thinks. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not my, that's just not, I can't do that. I could speak on what she showed, but not how she thought. So anyway, so he ended up telling her, that we were intimate. I think in a way to make her jealous. Honestly, that's what I thought. And they had some sort of strange dynamic with their friendship. None of my business. It didn't bother me. It was what he had, so like I told y'all, I'm going to sound real stupid at certain times, but we weren't in a relationship there. So I can't, that's your friend. I can't tell you we're not, you know what I mean? So even though we acted like it, I knew we wasn't in no relationship. So, after he told her, I don't know what he told her, but me and her were kind of cool, like as far as co-workers cool, and then suddenly she wasn't talking to me, she wasn't talking to him. So I know it was related to that. whatever dynamic they had, I can assume, but I'm not going to speak on, I'm just not going to speak on that. You know, it's just not for me to speak on. Anyway, so with that, he kind of started to get closer to me, you know, because they got to use somebody. Now, I don't necessarily think he was using her, or maybe he was. I don't know, honey. I don't know. But I know I was being used, you know, as a supply. They have a supply. They need a supply. They need somebody to supply them with the things that they need for their ego. And I was that supply. And I think she was in that supply in different ways, you know, that he made her. But I don't think she allowed it. I think this challenge that she gave him was what made him so gung-ho over that whole situation, because she absolutely challenged him. And I'm glad she did, because they need, sometimes they need to be taken down, you know, a peg or two. Anyway, so after that happened, you know, I kind of started to, okay, this is a little weird, but I had to understand, because I'm an empath and I put myself in everybody's shoes. So I started understanding and, you know, supporting and, you know, encouraging. He would talk to me about it all the time and cry, honey, cry. Yes, he did cry. Yes, he did. And it would make me feel so awkward, but me being a friend, I'm an actual friend. Whew, I wish I could tell. Anyway, I'm an actual friend. So I'm a support. Like, if I was a girlfriend, it's different. Like, bro, what? You know, anyway. So, that was one thing that was before the whole breakup thing. So anyway, fast forward to the breakup. After that happens, and, you know, the girl starts acting different, and I had to support him through all of that. And that situation, you know, they kind of was cool on and off, and I was, you know, there a lot for it, you know, not for her, you know, not dealing with her, but dealing with him. So it was a lot of nights of crying. I can't say what. He had an issue. He had an issue. I can't even. I have to say it. He had an addiction, okay, to something. I can't really say what it is, because then that's just. I don't want to mess up nobody, you know, situation or whatever. So he had an addiction to something, and I was around for that. You know, I could say I was an enabler, because I did not know that he had said addiction. Because we used to just chill, you know, like, you know, I can't say what else. We used to just chill. Okay, it was alcohol. Golly, I ain't want to say that. Anyway, I didn't know, because, you know, I only would see him, you know, after work. And everybody have a little drink, you know what I'm saying? So I started to know it's a little more, you know, it's a little more than I'm used to. But okay, you know, you know, whatever, you know, it wasn't like crazy. I don't have experience with alcoholism. Not that I can't see it, but initially it was like, okay, yeah, he just like to, you know, take a few of them back. You know, it's a little more than I'm used to. So anyway, I didn't know. So, you know, if he wanted some, I would just go get some. I didn't know that I was being an enabler. I found out later, when I put two and two together, that he had this alcohol, you know, he was an alcoholic or whatever. So, it really sucks. I didn't mean to enable. It's just, I'm an empath. I'm putting my, like, okay. Once I realized it, I was like, all right, you know, he done told me so many stories about, oh, I've been through this, oh my God, and the stories. One thing I don't do, especially in a new relationship or dealing with somebody on an intimate level, unless we just friends, like we were just friends, but there's a cap, you know. I'm not about to tell you everything about my exes, especially if we get in a relationship, because that stuff can get brought up later, and people can naturally, you know, well, you did this for this person, da da da. I don't recommend, especially if you're going towards a relationship, to really divulge heavy information about your past relationships. You can say a little, but when you start going in deep detail about everybody, you can create insecurity. You can create all type of issues, dude. Oh my gosh. Luckily, I am how I am. It didn't do that for me, but I got so tired of hearing about past women, because it wasn't that I was just hearing these stories. It was like when he got into the narcissism, it was low-key comparisons. It was like, what? You know, especially when the other supply was gone. Because I told him, like, hey, that girl don't need to be your friend. Like, you know, because you could just tell, like, you ain't no necessity. You know, like, that girl ain't gonna be, because he would make me feel so bad, basically, for not being hers. So I used to tell him, like, that, I guarantee you, I'll get cool again, she gonna be out of there. And that's what happened. He came to me like, how you know that? Like, dude, you can tell, like, you the only fool around here. So, so he would, like, you know, still, like, be sad about that, and, you know, be comparing, like, oh my gosh, he got to a point, and I'm kind of all over the place right now with this story, but he got to a point where he would talk about me physically. Oh, so much stuff transpired. There's no way I could really say, I wouldn't have enough time in the world to say, oh, hold on. Okay, that was my daughter. So that's my cue, because I've been talking for 15 minutes. So I shall return.